Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Just Open It, the YouTube series in which I open recently acquired toys. My name is Russ. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you're a fellow action figure collector or a fan of pop culture in general, please consider subscribing to my channel, Karaoke Fanboy TV. It's the very channel you're watching right now. Between now and June, when the new feature-length Masters of the Universe film is released, I will be opening a Masters of the Universe toy. I've been collecting specifically this Masters of the Universe Origins line since they came out in 2020, but I didn't open a lot of them. So I'm going to open them now in anticipation of that film and post a few videos every week to celebrate that. So thank you for watching this one. I am opening today Beastman from the Lords of Power series. Now, Masters of the Universe, when it was in development, in the early 80s, well, I guess the late 70s even, early 80s, one of the working names for this entire franchise was Lords of Power. So Masters of the Universe, Lords of Power. You can kind of see that there's a similarity in the syntax of those phrases, for lack of a better descriptor. Well, I think, if my memory serves as a fan, Lords of Power was scrapped as the brand name because it evoked a religiosity, if that's the right word, to who these characters were. It made them sound like religious, and I think Mattel either test marketed the name or somebody in-house just decided we don't want to evoke criticism. We already have a bad guy who is evocative of like the Grim Reaper, and then you have these like beastly characters like this. So at that time there might have already been some awareness that there would be some conservative parent groups that would look at Masters of the Universe and its sword and sorcery vibe and be like, is there something demonic about that? So you want to stay away from the word lords, I guess. Instead you go with Masters of the Universe, and I think that the ring of that franchise title is one of the reasons why this has endured over generations, transcending action figures to comics, to film, video games now, and everything in between when it comes to the franchising, the merchandising of this brand. Masters of the Universe just has a very cool ring to it. It's abbreviated MOTU, M-O-T-U, for a lot of fans, so MOTU rolls off the tongue. Yet, here we have this Lords of Power version of Beastman because, and let's just open it now, there was kind of an infamous prototypical ad that went out that featured early designs of these characters in plastic form, prototype action figures that were sculpted. They were close to the final versions, but not quite. And Beastman is one of the characters that was a little more dramatically altered from his initial versions. I think one of the first names for Beastman, like the Red Beast or something, either that was going to be his name or that was another character entirely. And you know, I'm not going to profess to be a huge Masters of the Universe historian. There's the mini comic that came with this figure. My awareness of the history of this series is probably pedestrian compared to some others, and yet a little bit more, I think. I think I'm a little closer to some of these facts than your very casual fan that just has nostalgic feelings about He-Man from the 80s. Like, I've stuck with it for most of my life since I first opened those toys in 1983 at the foot of my grandparents' Christmas tree. So this little diagram just shows that the parts are interchangeable, how to apply his armor, and so on. You know, if you're really into the history of this brand, Google Battle Ram blog. What a source of history. And not just like the character's origins inside the lore of Masters of the Universe. I'm talking about the toy designers by name. I'm talking about initial sketchbook concepts that have now become these celebrated figures that adults can enjoy because we are into the history of this stuff. Yeah, it's such a great tomb of knowledge for not just Masters of the Universe, but really like pop culture in the early 80s and what was being prioritized when it came to marketing toys to kids. That's Battle Ram blog. And of course, the editor of Battle Ram blog has now become, I think, one of the administrators, if not the administrator, of the famed website He-Man.org. So, as the film approaches, there are a lot of ways to learn more about this entire brand, if you're interested in such a thing. Or don't, and just enjoy the story as is. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so we have this harness, and it's interesting that this was packaged separately. I can only presume because it wouldn't have necessarily fit in the bubble. But also I see that he did not come with any accessories, no whip or anything like that. I didn't show this, the beautiful box art that is such a part of Masters of the Universe. And I'm so glad Origins, I'm so glad Mattel continued that tradition with these figures. It's really the only reason to keep them in the package, but the fact that I have a Beastman that is this early version of the character now is super cool, because until this it really only existed as, I think, one ad that appeared in like a Sears catalog or some sort of toy industry magazine of the early 80s. Okay, so I have to dress my toy. Aren't these boys' toys? We like our figures to come dressed and ready for battle. Okay, so I'm putting this harness on. It's a super cool, I believe, original sculpt for this. And just remembering the way my He-Man figures were when I was a kid, the harness has these straps that have little notches that go through a loop and will click into place as they fit. So once this is on, I will never take it off, so I want to get this right the first time. One of the things that I find mildly annoying about this is, one, I'm an adult collector and I got fat, stubby fingers, so the fact that they are making me do this is mildly annoying. But then secondly, I like a toy to come out of the package play ready for kids that are just excited to get it in their hands. And this isn't a playable feature to me, but okay, I'm gonna quit my whining because that was pretty easy. I got the straps in there, buckle the back, and just pop that in. It's a very malleable rubber. It's not super stiff at all. There we go. Beastman is dressed. Well, this prototypical Beastman is dressed. What's so cool about these Lords of Power figures, they put out a few of them, and then I believe there was a Comic-Con exclusive 5-pack. I did not get that. I just bought these individually at retail and was satisfied with what I got. Whatever was maybe exclusive to that 5-pack, I just remember at the time feeling like, I don't need to go out of my way and spend a fortune on trying to get that, because I have the figures that I want individually. These precede the now Sketchbook series subwave of Masters of the Universe Origins that are at the pegs at retail. The Sketchbook series takes the sketches of those toy designers that preceded the final designs that became the toys we remember from our childhood. It took like the first few drafts and turned those sketches into toys. So Lords of Power kind of fit in that Sketchbook series, if not just spiritually. And so when I display this stuff all together, when everything's open, Sketchbook series and Lords of Power, and then some other characters like Demo Man and stuff that were a kind of a Skeletor 1.0, those are all going to get clustered together. And I'm really excited to see what they look like, in addition to the figures I've been buying that are just modernized versions of the toys I had when I was a kid. This is a really cool way to go even further back than my own childhood memories and to get into the production of this line while still preserving its spirit and its storytelling potential here. This is so cool. I love that deep red color in contrast with that goldenrod harness and the belt and the gauntlets. The big open mouth with the fangs and the blue accent under the eyes. I mean, there's almost something like Sasquatchian if I could turn Sasquatch into an adjective. There's something like Sasquatchian about this version of Beastman. This is almost like a different character entirely at this point. Maybe somebody that coexists or competes even with Beastman in the jungles of Eternia. Who knows? There's more of a bruiser element here to me, especially with the wide spiked shoulder pads. Like, this looks like a really formidable foe for He-Man. And again, I'm super excited that he is a part of my collection. And what a celebration of where Beastman, where he came from, and a nod to where he's going. In the feature-length film that's coming out in June, I believe he's an exclusively CGI character. I presume not unlike the Hulk in the Avengers films. So the fact that we have something like this tangible to hold that points to his roots, and we have that CGI character to look forward to that kind of nods toward the future of this franchise, it's a very comprehensive thing for an old school fan like me to enjoy. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed my commentary in any way, you could find me on Instagram at AmazingAZComics. I self-publish mini comics of my own featuring colorful characters that are inspired by my love of Masters of the Universe, especially the impact it made on me as a kid. So again, you could find me on Instagram at AmazingAZComics. I'd love to see you there. Until next time, please tune in when I grab another action figure from the growing pile here in my living room, and I tell myself, you know what? Just open it. I'll catch you next time.